Hey guys, that one Brony258 here, back with more Trials and Tribulations. In the last episode, we talked to Delilah Hawthorne? Delilah Hawthorne. And when we talked to her, we basically found out some interesting stuff about her and her little boyfriend, Feeny, or Phoenix Wright. And we got to this point where I just did the wrong thing. Or not. How can you... I don't even know. The fence is grasping at straws. 10 minutes passed between the time of the cable broke and the time of the electrocution. What exactly were you doing that whole time, Miss Hawthorne? Ooh, Miss Hawthorne. Well, alright. I have no idea what's going on. I completely forgot. Originally, when the cliffhanger I did last episode, I was going to pick Delilah Hawthorne, but I accidentally picked Delilah Hawthorne by accident without explaining myself. But anyway, I picked Delilah Hawthorne now, so let's just see how this unravels. Were you really listening to some music while cheering them both on as they fought? I find that hard to believe that you didn't lift a finger to stop the man dearest to you. Order, order, Miss Fay. What not? I mean, why, that is to say, Miss Hawthorne, I believe you did what both, Miss Hawthorne, I believe you did witness, I believe you did witness the two men, I believe you did witness the two men fighting on that day. However, after Mr. Wright pushed the victim and subsequently left the scene, it was you who pushed Mr. Swallow to his death by your very own hands. Ah! Oh, little butterflies. Oh, how can you say something like that to me, Madame Fay? I didn't do anything. Miss Fay, this is a very serious charge you are... Hold it. Who said hold it? Phoenix! Your Honor, please, I have something to say. At you. You... What is it? Please strike everything the defense said just now from the record. What the... Are you daft? You're totally wrong, Miss Fay. Dolly, she couldn't do something like that. Mr. Wright, get back in your seat. Bailiff, grab that man. Ah! That's you. Leave my Dolly alone. That's you. Cough. That boy. He's gotten himself way in over his head. Oh, Mr. Grossberg, you're back. It seems I've arrived just in the nick of time. I found the police report on that incident in your newspaper clipping. Police report added to the court record. Thank you so much. This is exactly what I was hoping for. You'd better take a good look at it. It, details how you came to lose your boyfriend. Now then, the defense has made a very serious accusation. Mr. Payne, what do you have to say about this? Well, really, Your Honor, May I interrupt you for a moment, Mr. Prosecutor? Don't you worry, my dear. I have the situation well in hand. Sniffle. That is, go right ahead. Madame Fay, are you seriously accusing me of killing my sweetie Dougie? Yes, I am. Not only am I saying you murdered Doug Swallow, but you also tried to pin the whole thing on your current lover, Phoenix Wright. I told you that you should let me handle this. Sorry, please, go ahead. How can you say that? I'm absolutely devoted to my dear Feeny. The notion that I would try to frame him is ludicrous. This is all just too much for poor little me to bear. I believe that girl is trying to ask what on earth her motive would. I believe the girl is trying to ask what on earth her motive would be. The answer lies somewhere in this police report. It must. 8 months ago, an incident occurred in the basement cafeteria of this building. And then, the same day the two of them accidentally meet. Your Honor, the defense requests further testimony from Miss Delilah Hawthorne. Further testimony? What about? About the events of the day when she first met the defendant, Mr. Phoenix Wright. What can that possibly have to do with this case?
Objection!
The witness claims that she has no reason to frame the current defendant. Am I correct? Well, I have evidence that suggests that she, in fact, had a very good reason. Very well, then. The court grants a defense request. Young lady, would you mind staying on for a little bit longer? Of course not, Mr. Judge. Get ready for the battle of your life, Delilah Hawthorne. Delilah Hawthorne. How I met Feeney. Oh, how did you meet Feeney? I first met my darling Feeney 8 months ago. It's like we were destined to meet in this very courthouse basement reading room. The moment our eyes met, my heart skipped a beat. We've been going out ever since that fateful day. We're so lovey-wovey, we literally make people sick. It's just jealousy, I think. Mr. Wright, do that again and you will be held in contempt of court. Oh, wait. Oh, that was... that was Phoenix who said that, not me. And now we enter the final act of our little drama. As we used to say here in the days of my youth, go get her. How I met Feeney. I first met my darling Feeney 8 months ago. So until that time you had been dating Doug Swallow. Yes, I'm a real fool, I know. Letting my emotions change so quickly. I'm ashamed of myself. But no, not at all. Look at me. I'm infamous for changing my mind. My critics have even taken to calling me Judge Fickle. Maybe you should look for a different line from work. Despite that, however, he always hands down the correct verdict. That's why some people also call him the Great Judgini. It's like we were destined to meet in this very courthouse room. Wait. I got this. I should probably read this. Location, District 7th, victim Diego Armando. Ooh. Delilah Hawthorne. Armando ingested poison while interviewing the suspect. Traces of poison were found in the victim's coffee cup. No poison was found in the vicinity or on the suspect's person. Oh, okay. So this Diego guy got poisoned, and Delilah Hawthorne is the suspect. Anywho, something about a courtroom. Oh, the courthouse reading room. That's a strange place to meet the love of your life. That's not true, Madame Faye. After all, Feeney was not only a student, but he was also planning on becoming a lawyer. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about you, Miss Hawthorne. What was a literature student doing in a courthouse reading room? This line of questioning is a waste of time. It has nothing to do with our murder case. Miss Faye, I'm warning you. This has nothing to do with Mr. Swallow's case. I have to remember the judge is on Delilah's side. I better tread carefully. Keep pressing. Your Honor, if you'll allow me some latitude, I think I can establish relevance. Please ask her to continue on with her testimony. Very well. Young lady, I've got a simple question for you. What were you doing downstairs in the courthouse reading room? If it pleases Your Honor, the answer is simply this. I had come to the courthouse to do some research for a paper I was writing. I highly doubt that, actually. You were writing a paper? On what? On the relationship between the modern Senryu poetry and the criminal underworld. Oh, that sounds like a fascinating research idea. Am I getting old? Now I've even forgot what I've forgotten. Again with the midlife crisis stuff. Mia, what did that girl really come to the courthouse? This isn't that what you wanted to know? And speaking of forgetting things, you haven't forgotten about the police report, have you? I went through a lot of trouble to get that, my dear, so be sure to read it carefully. Alright, obviously I'm supposed to be using the courthouse. He blatantly, told me to use it, so... There we go. Just had to make sure. Miss Hawthorne, you weren't here because of the research paper, were you? Didn't you actually come here for a much more important reason? What is the meaning of that cocky smile on your face, Miss Faye? 8 months ago, Right here, in this very courthouse, there was another tragedy. Another tragedy? Do you mean the incident in which an attorney was poisoned? The name of the suspect in that incident is listed here in this report, and that name is Delilah Hawthorne. What? Delilah Hawthorne? Yes, the sweetie pie of everyone's eye, Miss Delilah Hawthorne. She was the prime suspect in the criminal case just 8 months ago. Ooh. Order! 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 This is unbelievable. It's true then, the loveliest rose can't hide. Is that... Come on, whatever. Miss Faye, that's not fair. You can't slander my witness with an unrelated case. I, Winston Payne. Mr. Prosecutor, I believe I was speaking. Pardon me. Go right ahead. It's true that about 8 months ago, the police expressed some interest in me. Expressed some interest, huh? Mr. Judge, sir, I know I'm under oath, so I'll tell you the absolute truth. I did not commit the crime that occurred during that incident 8 months ago. I see. Okay, I've tied the two crimes together. Now I just got to stay on the offense. Well done, Mia. Oh! You really lit a fire in my heart and my buttocks. I can hardly tell which is more inflamed, my spirit or my hemorrhoids. That's gross. The poisoning. I met the lawyer. I almost did a Winston Payne. I met the lawyer who was poisoned to discuss something in the cafeteria that day. I left my seat for just a moment, and that's when it happened. From what I heard, it was a liquid poison that is lethal at just 2 teaspoons. Not only that, I heard it was a very special kind of poison. So you see, I'm innocent. I wouldn't even know where to get a poison like that. So that's what happened here 8 months ago. However, as you've heard from the witness's testimony, she had nothing to do with it. I think the defense is just about out of tricks. I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Payne, but I'm afraid the defense has many more tricks up its sleeve today, and I'll be sure to show them to you before the end of this cross-examination. Blah! What the... Why is the defense suddenly... Excuse me. Why does the defense suddenly feel stronger? Aha, Mia! You're glowing with true lawyer's aura, my dear. That proud posture and self-confidence, absolutely smashing. The poisoning. I met the lawyer who was poisoned to discuss something in the cafeteria that day. Oh, what are you talking about, huh? What are you talking about with the defense attorney? Well, I'm sorry, but that's confidential. According to the report, you were being interviewed regarding another case. The lawyer that was killed, he said he wanted to talk about an incident I was caught up in when I was younger. Why don't you tell us all what that incident was? That has absolutely nothing at all to do with this case. Objection sustained. The defense question is stricken from the record. You get involved in a lot of incidents, don't you, Miss Hawthorne? Well, I guess I just was born under a bad sign. Don't worry, Dolly, I'll protect you! You heard the man. Now that is true love, young lady. Oh, Feeny, please. Ugh. Those two are really making me ill. Albeit for a decidedly different reason. I left my seat for just a moment, and that's when it happened. When I heard it was a little poison. I think I'm onto something here. I wouldn't even know where to get that type of poison. And that's the reason they didn't arrest you? Because no one could show how you could have gotten the poison? I think that's a good enough reason, Madame Faye. She's right. And I think we've all had enough of this Mrs. Faye questions. So, in essence, the main reason Miss Hawthorne was never arrested for this crime was because no one could show how she could have obtained the poison? Then all we have to do is find a way to establish how she could have gotten it, right? Great. Now, just how did a little... I thought it said little. Now, just how did a literary student get a hold of poison of all things? I know, kinda, hopefully. So you see I'm innocent, I won't even know I'm gonna have poison. Quick question. Isn't your boyfriend a pharmacologist?
Objection!
Oh, you're done. You wouldn't know how to get that kind of poison? I don't believe you. What? In fact, you had an easy access to that kind of poison, didn't you? At your boyfriend's lab. But boyfriend? You mean the victim, Doug Swallow? That's right. Up until 8 months ago, Miss Hawthorne was dating Mr. Swallow. And if you will recall, Mr. Swallow was a pharmacology student at Ivy University. Pharmacology? His laboratory contained highly advanced chemistry equipment. In fact, without such equipment, the culprit could have never obtained such a rare and special poison. Alright, good. Sorry, I like Phoenix Wright music. Well, Miss Hawthorne, it seems you had an access to such a poison after all. And then, it was a matter of slipping it into the victim's coffee when he wasn't looking. The only person who could have done that was the one sitting at the very table, you. No! Oh god, that sounded awful. Order! Could it be? That's nothing but a baseless... May I say something, Madame Faye? What is it, Miss Hawthorne? The amount of poison in the coffee was 2 teaspoons, correct? In order to carry that much liquid, you would have to have some sort of container. Well, yes, that's true. I was searched immediately after the incident took place. Quite true. In fact, the entire courtroom was turned upside down. But they didn't find a suspicious container anywhere, did they? She's right. They even mentioned in that report. Well, you could have easily gotten rid of something that small. Excuse me, madam, but this is a court of law. If you're saying I threw the poison container away, I think you need to show some proof. Proof? She got me good with that. Provide some evidence, or I'll have to disallow this line of questioning, Miss Faye. Unless we come up with some evidence, we're going to lose this lead. The police conducted a full-body search of Delilah and of the entire courtroom. And yet the container holding the poison disappeared right after the crime occurred.